Hello and welcome to That's Football. It's England versus Italy live stream watch along. Well, lots of different aspects to this. I mean, I've got to be totally honest with you. I'm actually, for the first time in a long time, feeling a little bit excited. England are in the World Cup, and you know, I knew it would happen. It always does happen. You start to get a little bit enthusiastic about it. From a well, you know, even a Liverpool fan. If we've got any Liverpool fans tonight, any United fans, I'm sure there's a few. Jorginho plays in the midfield for Italy, linked to Manchester United, linked to Liverpool. Interested to see what he can do. Watched him quite a lot for Napoli, but this is against an English opposition. Let's see how he conducts himself in that midfield. Will he enhance his reputation? I think we could come out of this game, really saying something positive about him as well. So yeah, this is what this channel is all about. That's football. Watch a football match and have a bit of interaction. But the bottom line is that we will be doing a lot of stuff with the World Cup over the summer. We'll all be watching the World Cup. So whether we are just taking the mick out of England or not, then maybe that will be the case. But interesting. Let's talk about those lineups. It's not just all about Jorginho as well. But Jorginho does play for England. And the lineups are Butland in goal, which is good. I'm glad to see no Joe Hart. I don't know why he's been playing so regularly. I'd rather see Pickford or Butland. Butland in goal, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Tarkowski, Eric Dyer, Trippier plays again, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Lingard, Ashley Young, Vardy and Sterling. No place for Rashford, he's on the bench. And then the Italian team, Donnarumma, take a look at him. Far-fetched it may be, but if De Gea goes, I think that's the player that Manchester United will go for. Another Mino Raiola client. Zappacosta, not worked out that well for him at Italy. At Chelsea did it. Rugani, very, very good centre-back. Bonucci, another very good centre-back. Disciglio, Pellegrini, not the former Man City manager, that would be odd. Frello, Fito, Parola, Candreva, Immobile and Insigne. And number 14 is actually Jorginho. I've never known him announced as that before. Frello Fillo. It's Jorginho. That threw me a bit. I was like, who the bloody hell's Frello Fillo? But Parola, Candreva, Immobile, very, very good striker. And Insigne as a good striker as well. So keep an eye out. Insigne is always that player, or I always count it. It always makes me want to say Insignia. Insigne. But he is the player that over the years you've probably bought him a few times if you've played Championship Manager or Football Manager or FIFA, because he's always a young player that comes through. Buffon's on the bench, and Belotti is on the bench. Verratti's on the bench. So they're players that you might want to sort of keep an eye out. It's a shame that Verratti's not starting. Would like to have seen Belotti as well, but they've got some. I am stunned, absolutely stunned. I don't know about you lot. I am absolutely stunned that Italy are not in the World Cup. But a bit like Holland the other night, we might actually see why. But that Italian team should be in the World Cup. How are they not in the World Cup? Well, they lost in a playoff against Sweden, didn't they? That's how they're not. But amazing, absolutely amazing, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Insigne, says Pratic. I'm rubbish with names. If United stick with the 4-3-3, what will that mean for Martial if Sanchez is playing on the left? I ain't talking about United tonight. Pogba scored and got an assist for France as they beat Russia 3-1. Martial played 58 minutes. That's about it. I don't think Isco will leave Real Madrid Retro City. I know he's been linked to Man City, but I don't think he'll go. Although he would be exactly the sort of player that Pep Guardiola would want. Pankaj says he prefers Jorginho over Verratti. I'm excited by this. I mean, I know we get a few United fans watching because it's of the United stand, but a lot of you won't have seen Jorginho. What you have seen, well, actually, you know what? Who cares if you've seen a lot of him? I've seen a lot of him. I haven't really seen him play English oppositions because Napoli, they had them games earlier in the season. But this is a good opportunity for him to see what he can do. I actually think it's a good test for England because I think Italy will they're a good set of players. I can't believe Italy are not in the World Cup. I'll say it again, I cannot. Anyway, share the video, please. Let's see how many people we can get watching, joining us tonight. And remember, if you are new, subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner, we've gone past 25,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic. Remember, that's football. We have got a show live every lunchtime, midday, for 10 minutes, sometimes 20, depending on how the debate goes. If we're talking about how fat Luke Shaw is or Jamie Carragher's spitting, depends what the topical thing is. But it's normally about transfers. We're talking about Eden Hazard today. Maybe he'll go to Man City, Retro City. Yeah, drop a subscribe, get your notifications on, and get involved with That's Football. Lots and lots coming up. And this is the place for the Champions League watch-alongs. Unfortunately, as a United fan, I thought the United stand might be the place for some of the watch-alongs, but no. So we've got some really good watch-alongs coming up next week with the Champions League quarterfinals. Lots to get involved with, and yeah, I'm really enjoying what we're building on here. You know, it's that away from Manchester United or whatever club you support. It's that, you know, we all watch other games, don't we? And that's what it's all about. So get involved. Are you doing the whole game? Says Donald Parker. That's the plan. Can't see Chelsea selling Hazard to City. No, I wouldn't have thought so, but I can see Hazard leaving. Who do I fancy for the World Cup? Says Robert Fahy. Well, I've got. I'm going to watch highlights of Germany, Brazil later, because I think that is potentially a final. But of course, let's not forget, it's all dependent on how the draw goes, isn't it? Yeah, one of those two would be my. I've fancied Brazil for a long time. I think they're going to. Don't think Brazil are favourites. Don't think they're anywhere near favourites. I think I'd almost class Brazil as dark horses. And Germany are just very, very good. Beyond those two, France have got a fantastic team, but a dodgy manager. So yeah. Sander's not coming on today because he's back in England. Actually, he lives out in Madrid, but he's back in England. 84,000 sellout this is tonight, which is absolutely amazing for an England squad, which is, I think we can all agree, it's the worst England squad in years. And that could be a good thing though. No pressure. One thing I would say about this England team is it is going to develop over the next few years. It's got some fantastic young talent coming through, and whatever you think about the current set of players, there is some really good talent coming through. So, you know, I think we're at the start of a journey of hopefully, you know, my interest in England can be rekindled because I've lost it over the years. Belgium as an outsider, not for me. I think they are the Spurs of the international football scene. Very, very good players, but always the bridesmaids, never the bride. Spain, says Robert Havahi. I do like Spain, Robert, but Spain are a bit like a BTEC Barcelona. They haven't got a Messi. They haven't got a Suarez. They haven't had a Neymar. They just missed something up front, and that's why for Spain for me just aren't quite right. Same with France. So many good players. I think I saw some stat today that they've got something like 15 top centre-backs under the age of 25 to choose from, which is just amazing. But I think Deschamps will be their problem. Who else? Argentina struggled to get to the World Cup, but now they're here. That could be a benefit for them. Who else? I don't think there's many teams that can win this World Cup, to be honest. I think it's going to be from 3 or 4, isn't it? You know, there's not really a rank outside of South American because Chile aren't there. Colombia are quite good. I mean, if you remember 2002, I thought Colombia looked one of the best teams in that tournament, and they were a little bit unlucky actually. Mexico normally turn up and they're quite good, but it's a bit of a step too far. I'm very disappointed Italy aren't in there. I've got to be honest, very, very disappointed that Italy aren't in it. But our youngsters will be ready for the 2020 World Cup. They'll need to be good to cope with the heat of Qatar, says Chris Windle. Well, it's actually 3.5 years till the next World Cup, isn't it? Not 4, because it's going to be played at Christmas. Ireland should be at the World Cup, says Nick. You know what? For a big World Cup, it is disgusting how many. You know, we don't have any islands: Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales. We don't have any Italy, Holland, Chile. There's some big teams there that you want to see there. Time makes a good point. International football managers are poor. That's why exciting teams like France and even England are boring. Yeah, well, what was I going to say? I suppose the quality is not there, is it? Because most people would want to do club management. You know, look at Slaven Bilic. He did very well at Croatia. I mean, could Croatia or Serbia do well at the World Cup? You know, those sort of countries. Look, everybody's there by merit in this World Cup, and I can moan as much as I want to moan about Italy not being there, because the reason I want Italy to be there is because all my life Italy have always been a part of the World Cup, and it's sad that a team of that stature's not there. But then again, I remember '94 when England weren't there, and that was bloody hard enough. So Italians love their football as well, so they'll be hurting. They'll be really hurting. But maybe they can start building back with a result tonight. Keep your eye out for number 14. That is Jorginho, and Immobile's a good striker as well. Insigne. Good players, Italy. Absolutely stunned. I'm absolutely stunned they're not in World Cup. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. Anyway, Tamer will start when the game kicks off, as per usual. Let's come back to you lot then. And we're doing. Good point from IamSK47. The demand and mentality in England for league football performance over country will always be the problem. Yeah, I agree. And I'd love to see Argentina win, as it's likely to be Messi's last World Cup, says Robert Fahy. I mean, Argentina for me should be far more favourites than they actually end up being. But team news for those who've joined us a little bit late. England line up like this: Butland, Walker, Stones, Tarkowski, Dyer, Trippier, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Lingard, Young, Vardy and Sterling. Rashford's on the bench. And Italy: Donnarumma, Zappacosta, Reggiani, Bonucci, Dischilio, Pellegrini, Jorginho, Parola, Candreva, Immobile, Insigne. And of note, Bellotti is on the bench, and so is Verratti and Buffon. Yeah, Darmian's on the bench, actually. That just shows you the problems that Italy clearly have. I'm not joking either. I'm not joking. He's not that good. He ain't that good, I'll be honest with you. Awaiting kick-off. It's now 3 minutes past 8. I think they're clapping. Is it Jimmy Armfield or Astori now? Chris Windle, shout out for Iceland. Yeah, it is disappointing not to have some of the big teams in the World Cup, but there's a qualification process, and if you don't qualify, you don't deserve to be there, do you? Who's my favourite Italian foot player, Mark? Says Luis Garcia. Buffon. I'm old school, innit? Yeah, definitely Buffon. Anyway, let's keep an eye on with the game, and as per Friday night, get your chat in there. More than happy to. Hopefully, it won't be a boring game. I think Italy are a better team than Holland, and the way it's worked for England with these friendlies, I don't think they ever would have expected that they'd be playing two teams not going to the World Cup. But this will be a good test for them, certainly. The game's kicked off, the timer's up there, it's 0-0 and the timer's underneath, so let's keep an eye out and see how it goes. Lingard coming from deep again at that sort of centre attacking midfield position. I've got to be honest with you, I absolutely hate him playing there for Manchester United. I just don't think he's got anything about him to play that number 10 position. Oh God, that was awful. Italy should have scored then. Completely killed the offside trap, and he took more touches than he needed to. Was it Immobile? I think it probably was. A player of his quality there. He should have absolutely better. Yeah, it was him. I can't. Absolutely springs the offside trap. Lovely little ball. I think it's from Jorginho, and it just takes too long. Pub level. Lingard is a right winger. I agree with you. I can't stand him as a number 10. I don't mind him playing there for England because England haven't. England aren't Manchester United, are they? But he's just not a number 10 for me. For Manchester United, he's definitely a good squad player and a right winger. Why is there no squad rotation, says Anarud? There is really. They've changed a lot of players England tonight. It's just Oxlade-Chamberlain and Lingard and a couple of others have survived, but there has been a few changes. Lich Calcott says, good job Verratti's not playing so people can't see how overrated he is. Mino Riola client. But if you are a Manchester United fan or a Liverpool fan, well, you know, it could end up anywhere. Jorginho is a player that's been linked a lot with Italy. Number 14. But a very good chance for Italy. That, well, it wasn't a good chance because he didn't get it out his feet. How many England players are world class? None. Another mess up at the back there. And another chance for Immobile. It's John Stones made an alright mess up of it and recovered well. Kieran Bowen says, disgraceful from John Stones. So, nervy start from England here. In Italy, have a corner. It's a chance for Sterling to stretch his legs and experienced Italian defence. One thing I'd say about Donnarumma is that, you know, I've heard him be mentioned as a replacement for De Gea in the past, and whilst he would be a very good up and coming keeper, he's just not got the footwork or the speed across the ground that De Gea's got. I mean, the reality is, if United lose De Gea, you're losing the best goalkeeper in the world. I said this last season. I hope he doesn't go. Of course, I don't want him to go. But if and when he ever does leave Manchester United, the cold, harsh reality is, it's a step down. It doesn't matter whether it's Donnarumma, Lloris, Oblak. It's a step down. Anybody they get, it's a step down. Lukaku scored, says Michael Gibson. Tell you what I like about Jorginho, though, he's very quick across the ground. Sort of playing as a right side of that midfield 2. And number 14. Keep your eye on him. Weird numbering on the Italian shirts. It's hard to tell. John Stones is awful, says Alex Harvey. And Jorginho is impressing me already, says, you know. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. I don't think you can get Jorginho and Milankovic-Savic, although I do think Manchester United need 2 midfielders. You can't get both because it's too much of a risk from Serie A, but they're good. They're good. And the thing that's impressive about him is he's quick across the ground. Pankaj says, is Jorginho like Carrick? I mean, well, feel free to jump in if other people have watched him like I have. He's a bit more mobile than Carrick. But his passing ability and his passing range is similar. I mean, I'm a massive fan of Michael Carrick. I think Michael Carrick's probably a little bit more physical than he is. I wonder, is Mourinho at the game, says Jason McDermott. No, he's probably watching. Well, he's probably round at Scott McTominay's house stroking his ankle, isn't he? Because that's where he was on the last game. He could have watched Argentina against Italy in Manchester, and went up to Scotland to watch Scotland's Costa Rica, which was McTominay's debut for Scotland, where he played dreadful. Or maybe he was watching Kyler Navas. I hope not. Is Jorginho a CDM? Yeah. I think he's got more about him than that, though. I've got to be honest with you. I think he can do more than that. Jose should be down here anyway, because that's where his family is in London, isn't it? So it's a perfect excuse to go and watch a bit of football. And there we go. Mark, any thoughts on the Australian cricket's recent ball tampering issue? Good topical question, Summerjit. I think sport is, you're always going to look for an angle, aren't you? You're always looking for an angle in sport. And the Australians, cricket captain is only second to the Prime Minister there. Some would say they're above that. So to openly be involved in that, some of their key players, I think there's only one way, you know. There's only one way out of that, isn't it? You've got to kick them out. Would I have Jorginho or Fabinho, says Ibrahim? You know, I think that's a very good question. That's probably our best question of the night so far, because actually, I think some people would expect me to say Fabinho, and I think some people would expect Fabinho to be better than Jorginho. But Fabinho plays in a pub league, and Jorginho plays top-end football in Serie A, and he plays international football, which Fabinho doesn't. But I think they're both very good players. Who would I want? I think you can only take one or the other, because I think they're both quite similar. But Fabinho can play right back as well. Young is playing at left back for England, yes. JD, he is. Remember, if you're new, I know we've got a few people watching tonight, so do subscribe to That's Football. World Cup's coming up, Champions League's coming up, so we'll be watching a lot of games and a lot of chat and everything like that. You can get involved with us on That's Football. If you've come over from the United stands, same sort of thing, just not United related, it's general. And we do have a show every day at midday, which is basically talking like transfers and stuff. So subscribe, get your notifications on, get involved. Everybody's welcome. You don't have to be, you know, as I said, it's open to any fans from any country. Join the debate. Would I take Rooney to the World Cup? Yeah, I would. I just can't, you know, I know he's retired himself, but yes, definitely I would. What midfielder would you sign, says Luke Andrews? From a United point of view, we did a show at lunchtime, the Transfer Red Rumours show, and I think it was Lynn Hall said, I'd love to sign 2 from Vidal, Fabinho, Jorginho, Milankovic-Savic or Verratti. If you get 2 from those 5, I'd be very, very happy. Very happy. For me, I would still take, my 2 midfielders would still be Milankovic-Savic and Fabinho. But from what I've seen of Jorginho, I think he's 25, 26. I've been very impressed by him, and not tonight in general. And tonight's a good test for him, because nearly a chance for Vardy. Then it's a good test for him because it's against English opposition. So can he do it in that more physical and speedy environment? What a tackle that was on Vardy, yeah, good. Vardy's pulled up a little bit there. Useful player, Vardy, though. He's done quite well for Leicester again this season, especially in the latter half of the season. And with his pace and that, I always thought Vardy was a little bit unlucky at the Euros, the way we didn't use him that much. I think he's that was the year that Leicester won the Premier League, wasn't it? And I'm glad he's involved still with England, because I think he's a player that can offer us something a little bit different. And, you know, all right, he's never going to be a world-class striker, but he can definitely... He's done it against all sorts of teams, so I'm glad he's part of the squad. I mean, Danny Welbeck, you'd hope that with Harry Kane back fit, that would be the end of that. Kevin Lopez, will Rashford play up front for England? I think, well, it'd be Kane, won't it? So Rashford will probably end up on the wing. Jorginho is a better fit than Savic. He's more defensive, and to be honest, Savic is almost too similar to Pogba, which won't really complement each other's game, as I feel they'll clash. unless it's symmetry, unless you have one side and one the other. Pointless bringing strikers to the World Cup because Kane will play every minute of the games anyway, says Kingdom FX. Yes, and we're never going to play more than one up front. JK, I love Liverpool, they say. Well, you know, to be fair, JK, I did say that at the start. For Jorginho, he's worth a... Keep your eye on that number 14 for Italy because he's been linked to Liverpool as well. So... I'd say 12 minutes in though, Italy the better team. Jason Gomez says that Peru's national team is my life right now. I don't know anything about them, mate, to be honest. Any good? Thought on Ward-Prowse for Manchester United, says J-Day. I'd be very surprised if we went for him. Player of the World Cup, and hey, this is a good question from Michael Foley. He says, who will be the young player of the World Cup and who will be the player of the World Cup? I wouldn't mind saying young player Leroy Sané. Really, really like him. And player of the World Cup, again, I think you've got to look at Brazil, Germany, Spain. I'd like to say it'll be a French player. I'd like to say it's going to be Pogba or Mbappe or someone like that. But I just don't think France will do that well. From Brazil, Neymar, Gabriel Jesus, even a Willian. You never know. Maybe Argentina, Messi. I don't think Ronaldo or Portugal are going to do a lot. See, even Italy know, get down the right hand side and get to Ashley Young. Anyone excited about the boxing at the weekend? Who will be the best striker? Says Depeche. Depeche Mode. Do you know what happened to Mad Marcus? Says Ibra. Yes, I do. He went walking. Oh no, I'm joking. He just decided he didn't want to do it anymore. I think he was doing a live stream on his own channel and he got quite a lot of abuse and he just didn't want to do it anymore. What club does Savic play for? Milankovic Savic plays for Lazio, United Devil. In fact, we did a Lazio versus Juventus watchalong on here. Red Devil 7, oh no, it wasn't Red Devil 7, it was Ray 7 Games. Has just liked and subscribed to the channel. Welcome, Ray. Remember, if you are new, click that subscribe button, bottom right hand corner. We've got daily content at midday talking about transfers and the latest big news in football. That's live at midday every day. And then we've got watch-alongs. So next week we've got the Champions League, haven't we? So Tuesday, Wednesday night we'll be doing, I think, is it Real Madrid, Juventus Tuesday and then Man City, Liverpool Wednesday. So that's 2 games next week. We'll be doing all the Champions League games that we can. And then on to the World Cup as well. So loads and loads of content here. And that's footballs for everybody. Doesn't matter what team you support. Oh, they should be 1-0 up. Immobile there is Immobile. I mean, that is just a lovely, lovely cross that comes in. Right on the penalty spot, free header, a player of his quality, he's got to score that. Absolutely rubbish. How does he miss that? Such a beautiful Beckham-esque cross, and he knows that. He should have had 2 in this game. Player of his quality, he should be scoring those. Should be 1-0 Italy. Rakish, don't give me a heart attack. He's just said as Fellaini signed his contract at Manchester United. He better bloody not. Heart skipped a beat. Ollie Mers. Ina Moran, predictions for Man City, Liverpool. God, it's so difficult. As a Manchester United fan, it's so difficult to know what you want. It's so difficult because if it was a Liverpool-Man City Champions League final, apart from crying for the whole lot, I think I would probably want... I'd have to say City over Liverpool because the rivalry is bigger with Liverpool for me. But I think if City beat Liverpool, they've got a better chance of winning this Champions League than Liverpool have. So... it's difficult. It's difficult. I've got a funny feeling Liverpool might do quite well in it though, to be honest. But I don't expect any of them to win it. Hopefully not, anyway. How's Jorginho so far, says Anantha? He's good. He's good. He is pretty much playing that position, running the midfield. He's another one who's got a bit of a weird running style. It's reminds me of Jamie Redknapp. His running style reminds me of Jamie Redknapp. A bit quicker than him, but he's got that sort of upright sort of stride. God, some of you won't even remember Jamie Redknapp used to play football. England not playing very well, Kieran Byrne, I agree. They're rubbish. England are rubbish. I mean, Jesse Lingard has been invisible. You know, I think people don't understand how bad Holland were, and I know they beat Portugal, but that's a worry as to how bad Portugal might be, because Holland were dreadful the other night. But Italy are not a bad side, and they've comfortably run this game so far. I think England might have gone a little bit too weak, to be honest, with the squad. I'm not falling for any of the Fellaini contract stuff because obviously I would know before you, well, not before, but at least at the same time. Marquinhos is a good player, Luke Andrews. I would like him at Manchester United. I just don't think he would leave PSG. We have been linked to him in the summer. I'll tell you what though, I'm starting to get, I don't know about you lot, as cynical as I am about England, I am starting to get excited about the World Cup. I was even thinking about getting one of the sticker books, even though they're a rip-off the other day. And also, I'm getting excited about the transfer window as well, so it's like an absolutely a double whammy, isn't it? You've got transfers and the World Cup coming up. Italy are playing well first half, they are. And see Pogba's performance. I haven't seen it, all I've seen is the goals. I'm sorry, but Southgate is bad tactically, says Adam Peck. And I would love if City lost and then Liverpool lost to Real, says Louise O'Donoghue. I think that, you know, I think it's going to be good. I think, unfortunately, when it comes to Liverpool versus Manchester City, I am not a neutral. But if I was a neutral, that game is going to be very, very good to watch. I don't want either team to win, and I'm not a neutral. I don't know what I am in that game because I don't take any joy in either. But I think it's going to be a very good game. Breach 69. Wembley is proof that slow, boring football creates no atmosphere. Very, very good points. We used to be, yeah, Luke Andrews, used to be 30p for a packet of stickers, and now they're like 80p. They are. And the 2002 World Cup, I actually nearly completed that book. I was 4 players short. I think it was 4. Was it South Koreans? It would have been South Koreans, yeah. 4 South Koreans short of completing it. Costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money. Here's England. Hamza Love, thanks for that. He says that actually Portugal played their inexperienced kids, basically a reserve team. And there's a question here from somebody. I might actually see if I can translate their name because they've asked a good question. Who is my favourite French player of all time? Oh God, tell you what. Cantona. It's very easy, isn't it? You've got to go with somebody who's United, and Cantona. I did like Ginola. You know what? I'm always going to go for somebody that is been in the Premier League, and you know, obviously, a lot of people would say, a lot of people might say Zidane, but for me, it'd have to be Cantona. I did like Ginola. Give us yours. Give us yours. I think on this, it's a shame Italy are not in the World Cup as well. Yeah, Kingdom FX got to be King Cantona. The thing I loved about Cantona is he just didn't really get used by his national team either, did he? Because he was an enigma. Lukaku scored as well. England are on the attack here. Find the ball to Vardy, gets it into his feet, good save, Donnarumma, and that's the first chance for England. Favourite South American player of all time? Oh God, now you're talking. I did really like Romario growing up, to be honest. But I'd probably go Ronaldinho. I think he's just an absolute amazing player. Some of the skills Ronaldinho had. Leach says, it's funny how Manchester United fans love Patrice Evra, but the French hate him. I didn't realise that. Is that because of what happened at South Africa in the World Cup, where they rebelled? Panko says, if England win the World Cup, would you wear a Fellaini wig? I'll tell you what, I'll grow my hair and actually get it styled in Fellaini for a year if England win the World Cup, because it won't happen. Mario Franich, I don't know whether I'm going to do the sticker book or not. I don't know. Thinking about it. Faison Sajid says, people from the Italian League are one-season wonders. Look at Belotti last season. Well, Belotti's been injured a bit as well. And on third, do I think Oxlade-Chamberlain's a midfielder? No. Just like I don't think Lingard's a number 10. Well, England have scored there. I don't know what was happening. It looked like there was going to be a free kick on Sterling. Totally run against the play. Even I got caught out by it. Let's watch it back. Let's watch it back. Oh no, he hasn't given it. Or he has given it. Or he hasn't given it. Or he has given it. We don't know whether it's 1-0 or not. I don't think he is going to give it. Or he is giving it. So, there seems to be a foul on Sterling, which there was. Sterling gets up. There's another foul on Sterling. Lingard takes it quick, and Vardy puts it in. Interesting. Quick thinking by Lingard. Fair play. Nothing. I can't see why the referee wasn't thinking about giving us that. 1-0. It is 1-0 to England. So I was too busy getting into another conversation there. But let's Church score. So Vardy with the goal. Nice little goal. Give him a chance. He'll score it. That should open it up a little bit now. I think there are striking similarities between the way England play and the way Manchester United play, though. I even thought it against Holland the other night, that a lot of people say, well, England played really well at the weekend on Friday night, but I found them quite boring. And in this game, Italy definitely have been the better team, but you get the goal, you get in front. England probably go on and win it, and but they ain't played well. Nothing wrong with that. Lingard kills the ball, passes it, goal. Sly Ninja Gaming, that was very good by Lingard. Oh, come on. What's good about picking the ball up and putting it down on the floor and passing it to somebody who's unmarked, quick? There's nothing. It's not open play, is it? It's just the ball's in front of him. He takes a free kick quick. Come on, we can all do that. Let's not get messed about. Gerrard or Lampard, says Drovasher. Good question. Yeah, probably Gerrard, to be fair. Andrew hopes that Rashford will get on in the second half. Yeah. John Stones has been terrible in this game, hasn't he? Rick Pal, I agree with you that Lingard has been better than Dele Alli this season. Dele Alli, I remember saying it around August time that this season's massive for Dele Alli. Finishes with the World Cup. If he had a season like last season, you know, teams like Real Madrid are going to be looking at him. And he's had an absolutely dreadful season. Really, really bad. I'm not getting drawn into this because I know what people want to do. I think that anybody who is saying that was brilliant quick thinking by Lingard has never played football in their bloody life. The ball's right in front of him. He puts it down and passes it to Vardy. You always look for a quick free kick. Has anybody actually played football here? Because I've played it and I've coached it, and throughout my whole life, if you get a free kick, you're always trying to take a quick one. There's nothing amazing about what he's done there. I'm sorry. I think you're reaching. The Lingard fan club is reaching. He's been very poor in this game, and Jorginho's had him in his pocket, and that's a fact. But he did well with the assist on the goal. But I would imagine Sterling would have done that. Kyle Walker would have done that. Any professional footballer is going to do that. Biosphere says, what a squad player Lingard is, Mark. Yeah, he's a good squad player. I agree. Matthew McFadden says, in all seriousness, Lingard is poor and will live off that good 6-week period this season. Abbas says he's world class. Potential world class. You need to get out more. Do you have an agenda against Jesse Lingard, says James Carter? No, I don't actually, James. And I get really tired of silly comments like this about when I say something about Fellaini or Ashley Young or Lingard, and all I'm actually saying is that they're not as good as people think they are. And it's not an agenda. I really find the Lingard fan club childish and blind to actual football talent. I don't see anything in his game as a number 10. He's a right winger, as somebody said about half an hour ago, and he's a squad player, and that's it. I've never seen him turn up against a decent team. And if you say Arsenal or Chelsea, having a chance put on a plate for you and finishing it isn't turning up, is it? I mean, the goals that he scores, these individual goals, where it's like Messi, Lingard, they're always right at the end of the game, or they're against lower level teams. And until he starts doing it against the big teams, it's just a squad player. It's just a squad player, and he's a marketing dream, isn't he? Because he dances and sells products really, really well in the modern day. But you know, David Beckham did that, and actually was a good footballer as well. BW Rush 00. I'm blocking you. Idiotic comment. I do think, in fairness to Lingard, though, I've said it a few times, and nobody's really picking up on it, although I have mentioned it a couple of times in the last week, is I think Lingard's purple patch that Matthew McFadden was on about, that 6 weeks, came to an end, dun dun dun, at roughly the same time we signed Alexis Sanchez. And who else was ruined that? Martial, again, his form went out the window when Alexis Sanchez was signed. Pogba, his form went out the window when Alexis Sanchez was signed. And Lingard's been not the same, has he, since Alexis Sanchez signed as well. So I just can't, I'm looking forward to United getting back playing, really, because let's just see what Jose can do to get the best out of some of these players. Oh, Ibrahim. Lingard scored against Chelsea and Arsenal. Yeah, they were all tap-ins, mate. One of them against Chelsea was a cross that was right on his head, and it was McTominay and Lukaku who made it. And Arsenal, if I remember right, both of those were a tap-in. So where's the individual brilliance, creativity there? This is what I'm on about. Talking about him as a number 10. He keeps being played as a number 10. And, obviously he's got goals in him, but a number 10's got to create. He doesn't create anything. He gets knocked off the ball. He's for me, he's just not a number 10. Stick him out on the right wing. That's where I think he should play. Favourite England manager for me would be... Well, it's got to be Bobby Robson. Yeah. I thought Venables was good. Jack, you've made that comment about 5 times now. If I see it again, you're off. Boring. Ben France. Mark, what do you think this England squad is missing? How long you got? I do think it will improve, though. I've got to say, I do think it will improve because of some of the young players that we've got coming through. Brad's right. England are playing a lot better in the last 10 minutes. Italy, I think, have become a little bit downhearted, actually, since that goal. Matthew McFadden is right. If you're going to actually judge a player properly, you've got to have a balanced view on a player. You need to chuck sentimentality out the window and look at both the good and the bad points about a player. Exactly. I mean, that's how spent my life analysing players, and I just don't buy into whether I like them as an individual, what they do for the club, what they do from a marketing point of view. Just is irrelevant. It's about what they do on a football pitch, and I think football these days gets judged on things that aren't actually relevant in it when it comes to football. It's like, take Anthony Martial, for example. Doesn't really do anything off the pitch. He's not dancing around with Pogba like Lingard is. But he's won Player of the Month 3 times this year. I mean, there's Lingard there, unmarked, passing it to nobody as a number 10. Crap. But get him out on the right wing. But yeah, Martial's been Player of the Month 3 times this year. We've only had 7 months of the season. But people will tell you he's rubbish. Jay-Z the kid, I'm good, man. You? Pan Man, I've just read your comment. Gavin Joseph, you know what? I was just thinking that as well. He just said, I can see why Italy didn't qualify. You can. First 20 minutes, 2 really golden opportunities for Immobile. Missed. And then they've gone to sleep, haven't they, for the last 10 minutes? And England is suddenly, 1-0 up and cruising. Oh, Patrick Mays, shout out for you, and bye-bye. See you later, mate. You'll have to set up a new account now. Martial is the best. Here we go. Ashley Young. Oh. Kingdom FX. What happened to Federico Makeda? Let's find out. Let's have a find out. I haven't got a bloody clue. He's only 26 now. He plays for Navarra. Serie B side Navarra on an 18-month contract. He was awarded the club's number 10 shirt on the 25th of February. Scored his first goal. This was his first Italian league goal and the first goal he had managed for an Italian team since 2011 when he scored for Sampdoria in the Coppa Italia. And this season he has played 12 games and he has scored 1 goal. So he was on loan at Forest actually for 3 games in 2015-16. He went from United to Sampdoria, to QPR, to Stuttgart, to Doncaster Rovers, to Birmingham, to Cardiff, and now he's at Navarra. Never going to make it. Never going to make it. But Messi or Ronaldo? I'm firmly in the Ronaldo camp, Jack. Slade Chamberlain's going in the book for a bit of dissent. Paul Prentice, yeah, everyone's still drooling over the Villa goal. But you know what? That Makeda goal against Villa in that game kick-started us to go and win the league. We were in trouble. We were really in trouble. Really, really important goal. But when you actually, you know, going back to that comment that Matthew McFadden says, when you're judging a player, you've got to take sentimentality out of it and judge them as a whole, as a player. And there is a prime example of that. It's almost scripted, really, that with Makeda, it was sentimentality. He scored a goal that, in the context of that game, I can't remember what the score was when he scored it, but obviously we won. But Villa should have won that game. We were dreadful. And then Makeda's goal sort of got us, you know, the win, and it was the sentimentality of that, because it was a memorable win and you remember that goal, you think this guy's going to be something really, really special. But actually when you watch him and you looked at him taking away that sentimentality, there wasn't a lot there. I mean, a player that I really felt, 2 players that we had at United that never really came to fruition but actually went and proved themselves to be very, very good players elsewhere. That's a bit wild by Ashley Young. Giuseppe Rossi and Gerald Piqué, we had them at exactly the same time. We all knew about their names and we were like, these players are going to be really, really top players. Didn't quite work for them at United, but Piqué went to Barcelona and has arguably been one of the best centre-backs of the last decade. And Giuseppe Rossi, fantastic striker. And I think he could have made it at United. He just had a few injuries and stuff. Do you like Louis Zaha as a United player? Says Baishvir. I did. I really liked Louis Zaha. He was just very injury prone, but he was a very, very good striker. Lovely left foot, quick. Yeah. I think the referee is Buffon, actually. I think they're giving him a referee game. Yeah, Robert Fahey's right. Diego Forlan as well. But no, Rossi and Piqué we had as young kids at the club. And it just didn't work out. They didn't get the opportunities. So, you know, everyone has a go at Mourinho, doesn't he? Or he doesn't play the youth. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson didn't find the time or the space for Piqué or Rossi. And they went on and became very good players. Would I take Vardy at United? As a backup striker, yes. Who scored? Vardy. Mark, who do you think will win? Joshua or Parker? Panman says. Well, obviously I hope Joshua, but I think it's going to be a good one. Thinking about doing a watch along for it, to be honest. On That's Football, it'll have to be. We're 3 minutes away from half time. Louise O'Donoghue's right about Zahara. It's a shame about the injuries. Jorginho's pretty much faded as an attacking sense in this game, but I think he's shepherded the midfield quite well. The thing about Jorginho is he's a good player, but he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be. You know, he's not superstar material, is he? Callum Christie, don't even know what it is. So I can have a look. Boring game, says Mackenzie McClellan. To be honest, it deserved a goal from Italy, but they didn't take their chances. It's played into England's boring football hands, hasn't it, really? Where they... Romero's injured, so CR7 Ronaldo. Well, yeah. Oh, cheers, Matthew. They should get me involved. I actually can play football. Pankaj. Oh, I agree. I've watched Jorginho a lot. I just wonder whether he is what United really need. I just think that midfield needs a little bit more. Like a big character. I mean, I'm not opposed to Vidal, if I'm honest. Scout report so far, good half. He pretty much has had, Jorginho has pretty much put Jesse Lingard in his pocket. Lingard still got an assist because he took a quick free kick. You know, you can't mark somebody when they're taking a free kick, but he's shepherded the back four very well for Italy. And his ball distribution's quite good. I suppose, it's a difficult position, isn't it? Because if Italy were 2-0 up, you'd be saying he's had a really good half, and he wasn't at fault for the goal. Italy arguably been the better team in the first half, but Italy in front, I think he's a good player. But let's not forget, when it comes to Jorginho, it isn't just Manchester United who are potentially in for him. Liverpool could well have a look as well. So, yeah. Callum Ackroyd, I agree with you. I don't get Raheem Sterling. I think Pep Guardiola's worked miracles with him this season, but I don't rate him as a footballer at all. I think he's very, very average. But I look at someone like Nathan Redmond at Southampton, and I think he's got more about him than Sterling has. But then Sterling's been fantastic for Manchester City this season. But you never see it. You never see it. Hey, Alex says, Mark, did you hear Twitter are playing to remove all fake accounts if they are not verified? Oh, right, okay. I don't really know how many fake accounts there are on Twitter, to be honest. Sterling runs like a chicken, says Jay Colchester. Jorginho putting Lingard in his pocket is not hard, says Chris MC. Well, don't say that. The Lingard fan club will be all over with you. Time, Sterling can't kick a ball. Raheem's got a girl's bum on him, says Gary Wells. Chocolate Cake 2001 says Jorginho is what the United team needs. Somebody good at playing a first-time pass. Yes. And a quick pass, which is really important. If I could bring back one legend for United and play them now, Roy Keane. I mean, that's off my head, instantly off my head. Of course, when you think about legends, you could have George Best, couldn't you? You could have Ronaldo, you could have Scholes, Robson, Charlton. But I just think what United need now is a midfielder, and what United need now is a leader. And I think Brian Robson was a very good midfielder. But I was a bit too young to remember what he was totally about. I sort of saw the end of his career. Roy Keane, I saw all of it, and I'd have no qualms about his leadership or his talent. I think he'd be brilliant. Devon Singh says Jorginho's average. Active Dan says he's nothing special. And Ananthu says Jorginho can be our Cruz, no need to spend big. There is better than him out there, says Tom. England are putting me to sleep, says Nicholas Myers. Robson and Keane, says Andrew. And Scholes, yeah. Mark will say Keane, says Mini Diver, I did. Duncan Edwards, well, yeah. Would be fantastic, and we'd all pay big money to see that happen. Fellaini or Bakayoko, says Man United. Oh, that's probably the toughest question I've been asked all year. Fellaini or Bakayoko? I would probably still say Bakayoko. That's how bad it is, isn't it? Xionex says, why are you hating on Sterling? He's certainly better than Martial and you know it. I'm not even saying that from a Manchester United point of view. I'm saying that from an England and France point of view. I'd take Martial any day of the week over Raheem Sterling. But I don't watch Man City every week either. So, from what I see of Sterling, I don't really get it. Andrew Ellis says Robson was the reason why I supported United. Captain Marvel. Such a shame because we're actually doing an England watch-along when you talk about Brian Robson though. Just every tournament, I think every major tournament more or less he went home, didn't he? 86, 90, always injured, and such a good player as well. Such a good player. Who scored? I'm just in the door, says David Gaynor. So quick free kick from Lingard and Vardy finishes it. Jamie says Sterling runs like Manan. I think to be honest with you, to be totally crude, he runs like he's running. He shit himself. To be honest, he does. Alexander L. Martial would be ridiculous for City. I actually think that is the problem with Pogba, Rashford, Martial, Sanchez. I think if you put those four players into a Man City team, you'd see very, very, very good players. I just think they struggle with the defensive side of what Mourinho wants. And that's not a criticism of Mourinho because I'm a big fan of Mourinho, but I think those players would work in a team that gives them more freedom. Lingard or Fellaini? Lingard every day of the week. You look so bored, Mark, says David Jones. Yeah. Jose is the problem, Mark, says Andrew Ellis. Well, you would say that. You would say that. Remember, we've got 860 people watching here tonight, which is fantastic. So please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner. We've got lots of things coming up on That's Football over the next few months, through the World Cup, through the summer, Champions League games. We're live at midday every day, talking whatever the latest news is. So if you like football, just get involved. Subscribe, bottom right hand corner, get your notifications on, and do get involved with it, because we want to do more of this sort of stuff. When if there's a match on that people are going to be watching, we can go live, have the game on, but you can get involved in the chat as well. Sterling improves England a lot. His energy is good, says Joseph Hilton. And Wet Lettuce, a shout out to Mark. Wet Lettuce, what's this all about? This is a Xander thing. Adam Robinson, Top Pro Game, says, who do you support? So I support Manchester United. I actually mainly do stuff on the United Stand, which is a Manchester United YouTube channel. So check it out, But that's football. Van der Sar wasn't on Schmeichel or De Gea's level. Jake Holters. Never a truer word said. And Martial is definitely the most overrated player after Pele and Ronaldo. Well, I rate Martial, so, what are you watching this channel for? Because I genuinely think Martial is a top class player, and that's my opinion. There's no doubt in my mind about it. I'm 100% sure that Anthony Martial is a top class player. I just don't think we're seeing it at the moment, but we're not seeing it with Pogba either. I think that Mourinho, for whatever reason, has an issue with Martial, and whether he'll get the best out of him, I don't know. It is a good question from Goat 1996. If you could turn one player's nationality to English, who would it be? I don't think there'd be much point in taking Ronaldo or Messi, would there now? Oh, XD says, has Manchester United ever had a pitch invasion? Thanks for the contribution, pal. I would imagine so. I think every club has. I'm trying to think when we've had one though. What one player would I make English if I could? Well, it depends whether you want to go fantasy or you want to go reality, because England actually do need a midfielder. But I'm trying to think in a world stage, would you just, Toni Kroos, Modric, or would you say someone like Neymar? Don't know. Darmian, says Sion Williams. Genuinely think Martial is Manchester United's best number 9, says Matthew West. Has to be Neymar, says Akash. Dybala, says Nicholas Miles. I'd change McTominay to England so as Scots don't have him and he makes the England team 10% more boring. Bloody hell, Matthew. Martial or Pogba, if he had to sell one? Pogba. Yeah, I'd get rid of Pogba. I rate Martial, I do. But I like them both. Biosphere says, I rate Van der Sar higher than anyone because he's my childhood dream of how a goalkeeper should be. He was the best in the world when at Manchester United. Very, very good goalkeeper. Very good goalkeeper. But I think he was a world-class goalkeeper, Van der Sar. And I think Schmeichel and De Gea, world-class goalkeepers. But I would put him third to those two. Just my opinion. But very, very good goalkeeper. And we've been very lucky to have 3 goalkeepers like that. Martial or Mbappe? Aman Bash. At the moment, you'd have to say Mbappe, I'm not going to lie. But I think Martial, as I've said many a time, I think Martial in the right system would be doing far better than he is. But as I've said so many times about Anthony Martial that people don't get, I get stunned by the amount of United fans who say, oh, he's rubbish, he's a flop, he's boring, he's lazy, he's got a bad attitude. He's won Player of the Year, Player of the Month 3 times this year. He's won Manchester United points. He's got loads of assists, he's got loads of goals, and admittedly, he's been very poor since Alexis Sanchez came. But up until that point, Player of the Year for me. So, short memories. 2-0 to Spain against Argentina. Porcelain. See you later. Set up another account. Galaxy team has subscribed. Welcome to the channel, pal. And United makes having great goalkeepers seem natural, says Christopher Morton. Martial could and should be the next Thierry Henry. Just going to get me water, might be a moment. It is half time at the moment. Oh, can't believe what I've just done. I've just tripped over my HDMI cable, which moves from one room into this TV room so that I can watch the football, and I've just tripped over it and broke it, so I can't watch the football anymore. But I'll carry on for a little bit, and we'll see what we can do. Romero went off injured, says Man United. VJ says bring on Xander. He will be back. He will be back. Callum Christie says United stand or Arsenal fan TV. Well, I would imagine if you're an Arsenal fan, you're probably going to say Arsenal, aren't you? Lukaku the GOAT says Pogba the best, and Andy Cole or Dwight York. Cole for me. And Numpty, I am a Numpty. Watch it on ITV Player, says Heck123. I could try. It's a good idea. We can set that up, can't we? Should be able to do that. Yeah, I should be able to do that quite quickly. God, I'm still struggling with this cold as well. Okay, let's come back to the live comments, set it up. We'll get that back on. Who scored? Vardy. Would you take Martins? Says Mertens, JME. Yeah, as a backup striker, I would. Could Sir Alex win the World Cup with the England squad? Says Paul Pogba. I'll tell you what, that would be very, very difficult, even for him. Even for him, that would be good. I will have the match up again soon. I've just, I just got to get me password to sign back in. Prat, absolute prat. Is that what I'm going to say? Go to get a drink of water and trip over your HDMI cable. Good job it's not a United game. I'll be fuming. But we might get to see a bit of Verratti in the second half, which is pretty much why. Here we go. Here we go. I think Nani was underrated at Manchester United. He was the unsung hero, says Kingdom FX. I really liked Nani. I didn't want us to sell him. And didn't... I'm sure, if I remember correctly, I think... didn't Moyes give him a 5-year contract, then sell him 2 months later? Or was it Van Gaal? Something really weird was done there, yeah. Do your thing. Let your body swing. Do your thing. Da, 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 da.
Come on in.
Here we go. Get me live comments up.
Dogs have always had subtle little ways.
God, I keep getting asked about this. What position do I play? I used to play as... in my younger days, I used to play as a sort of winger. Oh, why does it keep doing that? Don't want the audio on.
That are more suited to a back three.
Get Glenn Hoddle off. Okay, so second half is off, which is good. We've solved a problem. Rakesh, newborn's doing very well. Thank you for that. Thanks for that nice comment. Let me get the timer up and running for you. Needs must. Come on. 4E. There we go. Timer's working. Apparently I'm like a real life Alan Partridge. I take that as a compliment because I do like it. I do like that programme. I tell you what, I've really have enjoyed at the moment actually. This Country. It's on the BBC. Very good. Very good. Very funny. But I'm not even too sure if there's been any changes. So I'm just going to have a quick look. See if we've made any changes at half time. Or if anyone's made any changes. Doesn't appear to be, which is always encouraging, isn't it? Spain are destroying Argentina, says Rick Pal. Look, I think that's one thing that I would say about the World Cup and the teams that are in it, is that Argentina very nearly didn't make it to this World Cup, and Italy didn't, Holland didn't, Chile didn't, and that's disappointing. But they didn't make it because they weren't good enough. And I think anybody who's expecting Argentina to win the World Cup, they're going to have to improve massively from what they've been doing, because they've not been playing very well. And the South American qualification is no walk in the park. Watashi says, will Italy win? I've put 10 grand on Italy. I tell you what, I can understand why you might have done that, but I don't think they're going to win, mate. Have I been to Wembley before? Yes, loads of times. Christopher Morton says England will need a new development programme to ever make even the semi-final of the World Cup. I think they've got it. You know, you look at the younger teams like the under-19s, the under-17s, very good players coming through. Under-16s, really good, talented players coming through, and it's a conveyor belt of players coming through as well. So it's looking bright, the future for England. The problem is where I think it's a bit like a brewery, isn't it? When you realise you're going to run out and you suddenly start making a load more, but you've got to wait for it to mature. A distillery, a whiskey distillery. You know, your product's not that good anymore and you're running out of it. We need to make some more. And they've made some really good whiskey. It just needs to mature a bit. And then we've got loads of barrels of it. But at the moment, we're stuck with the old stuff that's not that good and is coming towards the end. But there's no creativity, says Neil OB9. And whether you're a Manchester United fan or you're not a Manchester United fan, I'll keep saying it. Jesse Lingard's a right winger. And he can score goals. But playing him as a number 10, you're going to make yourself very limited in the chances that you make. That's not the creativity. But who else are you going to play there? Who else plays there? England don't really have a creator, do they? Yes, Jake Holthurst, we won the World Cup, didn't we? Very recently. I think it was the under 18s or the under 19s? Under 19. I like my whiskey neat. The Phil 686688. Dele Alli should be playing where Jesse Lingard is, but he's had such a bad season, he doesn't deserve to. Ross Barkley, who's he? You know, what's happened to him? Is he injured again at Chelsea? I've not, you know, they bought him in January. What's he done? Is he injured? Thank God football's back at the weekend, says Gary Wells. Yep. Chelsea Spurs on Sunday as well. Wilshere, says Rakesh, always injured. Kingdom FX is impressed with my whiskey analogy. Only works with England. SD, thanks for the contribution, says, would you cry if England won the World Cup? Yes, I would. Not as much as I'd cry if Fellaini signed the new contract at Manchester United, but no, I think there would be tears, to be fair, yeah. Be pretty impressive to do that. What did I think of Brian Clough? Says Tom. Well, Roy Keane says that Brian Clough's the best manager he ever played under, which people think is just bitterness. But I don't think he's just being bitter about it. I think there is a reason why he says that. Because if you look at what Brian Clough did at Derby County and then at Forest in the early years, he's the best manager England never had. Very, very good manager, and achieved it with small clubs. But went to Leeds and couldn't, hardly lasted more than a month. Christopher Morton says Harry Kane will make a big difference to this team. He will do, but if there's no creativity, there's no creativity. Harry Kane's got people like I nearly said Sven-Goran Eriksson. Christian Eriksen. He doesn't want Sven. He's got people like Christian Eriksen, hasn't he? And Ashley Young, selfish there. The cutback was on and it should have been 2. Matthew McFadden says Scotland have got a better chance of winning the World Cup than England. Mark Willis says, England win the World Cup or Fellaini sign a new contract. Well, England are never going to win the World Cup, so hopefully Fellaini won't sign a contract. Fairs, I'll have a look. I will have a look. Spain 2, Argentina 1, says Peter Fagan. It's a real shame how Keane and Fergie are still better towards each other. Not even respect between the two, says Kieran Byrne. It is. Dave Gosling, I can't even repeat that. Matthew, United can make anything happen, says Faze Chowdhury. England are in the ascendancy at the moment. Italy, I thought Italy started this game off quite well, but they've lost their way a little bit. Nobbed, I can't pronounce his name, but I'm going to read his comment. I think he's a Liverpool fan. He says, why would Jorginho go to United to take a nap? Candreva's coming off for Chiesa. Candreva's I know somebody said it right before the game. He's a bit of a donkey, Candreva. He's just got no speed about him at all. Spurs are going to beat Chelsea on Sunday, says It's Your Guy 101. I think if they do, then I think it's the end of Conte anyway, but it's certainly the end of Chelsea's chances of getting top 4. There's no United Stand show tonight, Rakesh. We did it at lunchtime. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be very, very selfish here and just use you as a little bit of a bouncing board for something, because you are I know there might be some people who watch the United Stand, but there will be some people who don't watch the United Stand. So we on the United Stand have got 210,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we've recently started a Patreon page. Now, Patreon is sort of like you can contribute towards a creator or whatever like that, but basically Patreon allows you to put content behind a sort of a firewall, I suppose. So we put up a lot of content on YouTube. That's not going to change on the United Stand, but what we're going to do with the Patreon page is for $2 a month, we're going to put up a couple of videos a week, do a live stream on there, all exclusive content there for sort of like a members club. We only started it last night. It's the United Stand on Patreon, so I'm not promoting it on here. The links, if you can find it on Patreon, it's there, and do get involved if you want to. But what sort of things do you think as a sounding board group for me for a couple of minutes? What sort of things would make you want to be part of that sort of members club? What sort of content would you want? Some people have said, let's just have a game of poker on there or something like that. So if anyone's got any ideas, you don't have to comment, but if you do, let us know. Cap, I'll just put you in, hide you from the channel forever. Thanks, mate. If you're not going to say anything that contributes. There we go. I've done a charity live stream, Abdullah, and doing a charity live stream on a closed community, you'd have to do that on YouTube. Matty HD Gamer says, will England get past the group stage? I hope so. We haven't done it at the last 2 tournaments, have we? So behind the scenes, says Kingdom FX. Yeah, that's a good idea. Strippers, says James Faulkner. FIFA 18. Callum Christie, Arsenal Fan TV, 733,000 subscribers. United Stand, 25,000 subscribers. No, this is not the United Stand, mate. This is not the United Stand. The United Stand's got 210,000 subscribers, and Arsenal Fan TV's been running about 2 years longer than us. So, yeah. Anyway, we're doing content with the Arsenal United end of April. Couple of subs here for England. Lallana, Danny Rose. Probably take Ashley Young off. Maybe Lingard. No, he's taken off the Ox. Pancage, I've wrote FIFA down. Trippier's coming off for Danny Rose. Snaps is in the house. Oh, Vardy's in. Cross. Yeah, Ashley Young's moved to right back. I think he's a better right back than than a left back, to be honest. Fortnite. It's an interesting idea. Fortnite. Player career mode. Corner to England. Pogba form down the toilet, says Michael Hubbard. Well, he played well. In fact, he played well tonight for France, so hopefully he can bring some of that form back. Jason McDermott, is Milankovic-Savic injured? He hasn't played in the last 2 games for Serbia. I'll be honest with you, I'm not aware whether he's injured or not. Susan McKerney, yes, everything on YouTube will still stay the same. This is going to be sort of extra stuff that we wouldn't do for YouTube, that we'll just do in a sort of like exclusive community. And the reason for the Patreon page is basically because we want to be able to fund some get-togethers nationally, globally as well. So we want to try and get over to New York in July, certainly Dublin in May. So the Patreon page will sort of feed that, but we want the content to be totally different, exclusive. You know, some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, some live streams and stuff like that. Apparently Brazil are parking the bus against Germany. Somebody asked that before. Who do you think's the dark horse of the World Cup? I think Brazil. Brazil are not favourites to win the World Cup. Brazil have not been a favourite to win the World Cup for a long time. And I don't know. I just don't think that they are. But I have a funny feeling they might do quite well in the World Cup. David, I've never played Fortnite, so I don't know whether I'm very good or not. Here's a chance for England. No. Marius says, is Southgate the coach to move England forward? God, no. Allardyce wasn't either. Neither was Roy Hodgson. Neither was Capello. The choices of England managers over the years has been nothing short of a disgrace. Even Ericsson was a disgrace. But Gareth Southgate, he struggled to get a job in the Championship. He's a poor manager. He's got the England job because he fits the criteria of the archaic FA over the last 50 years. They just pick manipulated yes men. That's what they do. Jake Gold, a massive drinking game to a match one day. Yeah, look, the Patreon page is going to be that sort of thing. It's going to be stuff that we wouldn't do on YouTube, that is more of a sort of exclusive. And I don't want exclusives to be used in the wrong way, but it's going to be like, you know, if people are going to pay a couple of dollars a month, which is what, £1.50 a month, you're going to get at least 10 extra videos. But we want it all to be community based and stuff that we wouldn't do on YouTube. So whether it's behind the scenes, whether it's a live stream Q&A or whatever like that. It looks like Immobile's going off here for Italy, and Belotti is coming on. At least we're going to get to watch a bit of Belotti. Arsene Wenger would be 10 times the boss, Callum, than Southgate is. Was it good for Alexis Sanchez to go on the international break? I think so. I think a change of the scenery might be good for quite a few players, to be fair. Fawad Jamal Hassan says, do you think Jesse Lingard is more important for England than Manchester United? Yes, because England don't have any very many very good players, but I think Jesse Lingard's been, like a few of the England players tonight, pretty anonymous, really. Pretty anonymous. Tiago Farias, are we only doing watch-alongs for the England games during the World Cup? No, we're going to try and do as many as possible. You know, I haven't had a full look at the fixtures yet, but we'll certainly do games that are of interest. Videos of me and Robbie the dog. I'm sure we can do that sort of thing. Michael Hubbard, do you have to pay in dollars then? No, it's just that Patreon is I think it's an American site, but you can pay via PayPal or other ways. You don't have to pay in dollars, no. It's just, it is $2 a month because it's an American website. Favourite Harry Potter movie, says Druth. I've always liked, movie wise, Prisoner of Azkaban. There will be a watch along for City versus Liverpool on this channel next Wednesday night. Real Madrid Juventus next Tuesday night. We probably will do Belgium watch-alongs, Callum. We'll do a lot of watch-alongs for all the big teams. Our aim is to do, obviously, all the big ones. France, Germany, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, Belgium, the bigger teams. And we'll obviously do England as well. Italy looks slow. Well, Italy are going through transition. They're not going to the World Cup. Their current manager won't be their manager, so they're on the rebuild really. Danny Dobson's made a contribution. I dreamt last night that Manchester United beat Man City. Tempted to say keep dreaming, but you know, I want some of that. Ireland versus Celtic watch along. Didn't know that was happening. I think Luke Shaw should be playing left back for England. All Day YouTube says Mark or Xander. I'm sure Xander's going to win. Eamon Dunphy, I know all about him from my 3 years living in Ireland. Very funny guy. Don't know whether he intends to be funny, but his opinions are funny. Oh, I'll tell you what. I think I'm gonna call it. I'm going to call it there. 20 minutes to go. I've had enough. I've had enough. I can't do the 90 minutes. I can't do the 90 minutes. My thing keeps buffering and life's too short. I think I'm just going to go and have a nice hot bath and watch a bit of Breaking Bad. Stone's very poor tonight, says time. How many minutes left? 20 minutes to go. All in all, I think Jorginho's done well. I haven't seen anything in him that would turn me off him. He's done okay. That Italy team, you can see why it's not in the World Cup. There is a Patreon app, Michael Hubbard. If you look in the video description of the latest United Stand video, that will take you straight through to it, and there is an app. Freddie Wilson, of course, you can have a shout out, mate. If you are new to That's Football, please do subscribe, bottom right hand corner. We do videos live midday every weekday, talking about whatever the news is in relation to football. So, you know, we're talking about Hazard today, Pogba yesterday, Carragher's spitting, Luke Shaw's weight issues. You know, That's Football is a general football channel, and obviously we do the watch-alongs. We've done the last two England games for our. You know, we'll definitely be doing it in the World Cup. We've got the Champions League coming up. I think we're going to do Chelsea Spurs on Sunday, but there's daily content on here. So get involved, subscribe, and join in with the community. Everybody is welcome. Yeah, Lingard's gone off, so I've got to give in. But thanks everybody. Back tomorrow at midday, and really enjoy the chats that we're having. And that's what that's what we want to do anyway, especially those Champions League games next week. It's those games that you watch that maybe you're watching, but it's not the team you support. We'll get involved, we'll do a watch along, and we'll have a bit of a chat and everything. So thanks everyone for watching, and back tomorrow at midday on here. If you've not seen tonight's United Stand show, just go to United Stand and watch it. We're talking about Verratti, fun enough, who we've not seen tonight. A little bit about Vidal, which is interesting, Justin Kluivert. And thanks for ideas about the Patreon thing. I think we'll definitely start using some of those. Speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching. I'm a just for kicks now.